Guys, we're live on YouTube. We're champions, and we're going to be going for about 45 to 50 minutes before the Champions League. I know it's the under-18s final tonight. We're going to be keeping across it for the duration we're live. Joe, let's just get into it. I mean, what a night. Probably one of the best nights of football I've ever witnessed live. Saw you after the game as well in the Jolly Gardeners. What a night, Joe. Talk me through your thoughts and feelings.
It was a phenomenal day. It was one of those where in the build-up to the game, you just sort of had the feeling that, similar to Preston, that it was just going to be our day. You know, everyone was up for it. They put the scarves out, which I was a big fan of. You know, the atmosphere was fantastic. It looked a bit like a white wall, and I'm a big advocate for the sort of fan displays and stuff, and I thought it looked good. And it was just one of those games where, from the start of the game, even though Luton started quite strongly, it felt like it was our day. And once that Tom Cairney goal went in, it was just routine, wasn't it? It was fantastic. And I loved every second of it. The celebrations afterwards were fantastic. Seeing a trophy get lifted, and I'm not talking about a playoff trophy, because as good as that is, it's not a title. And I know it's not the Premier League, it's not an FA Cup or anything like that. We won a title, and you can only beat what's in front of you. And we've been the best team in the league this year. We thoroughly deserved it. And it was so wonderful to get it done at home in those circumstances. It was just a perfect day.
Yeah, and a pitch invasion as well, which wasn't quite sure if it was going to happen or not, but it did. And I thought, oh, fuck it, I'll just go on the pitch as well. And went on for about 5 to 10 minutes. But really well orchestrated evening from the club in terms of getting the atmosphere going. The scarves were just, I said it was a big game feel. It really did have that big game feel. I was trying to press everyone for a question. Every time I saw someone the other night, I was saying, what was better, Derby at home or that? And I think the context is so different. It's so difficult to make a decision. I think instead of arguing about it and debating it, just enjoy them both.
Just enjoy them both. You sound like Rio Ferdinand in that video.
Guys, we're so excited to have you in the stream. I know it's obviously a busy night with Fulham under 18s, and if you're at the game, enjoy it. Hopefully it goes our way tonight and we can beat those horrible lot from down the road, despite them just being the unders. But it's always nice to get one over your rivals. Joe, we're back in the Premier League. We've known that for a while now, but we're champions. What does that mean for the history of the club and the status of the club? That we haven't won the championship for 20 years before our days really as being big old Fulham fans. We were toddlers at the time. And a lot of people who were, back in the Tigardar days, they would have absolutely loved it with Louis Sahar and everything like that. But this was special. And we have to talk about the goal scorers. Tom Cairney makes it with 100 goals for Fulham this season in the most iconic style. That is iconic Cairney goals. He loves the big occasion. Great finish. Great goal. Oyedinma went down injured. We played on. It's not a head injury. You're allowed to do it. Nathan Jones must have been furious, but we're allowed to do it. And what a ping from TC.
Yeah, I mean, it was almost one of those things where it felt like it was meant to be, where Cairney always seems to turn up for the big games. And when you saw him in the lineup, you thought, wouldn't a Cairney screamer just top it off? And as soon as the ball fell to him, you knew where it was ending up. It was ending up in the roof of the net or the top corner, or in his case, basically both. Wonderful move before then, completely in our right to play on, by the way. I think anyone would have done the same, especially Leeds a few years ago. It was just one of those perfect moments. And when everyone was running over to the cottage, I think it was, just great celebrations. And we just went on from strength to strength. Until that point, it was a fairly even game. There weren't many clear-cut chances. 1-0 Chelsea, not great news.
It's been a goal.
Plenty of time to go, guys. Plenty of time to go. But yeah, it was one of those perfect moments. And we'll look back and we'll think the 100th goal we scored by the captain, who's now taken us up 3 times. Just fantastic.
Yeah, fantastic goal. Obviously, disappointing start there for the under-18s. It only started about 5 minutes ago, and apparently it was their first touch of the ball that they've scored with. We've got a friend who's there who's keeping us updated on what's going on. Disappointing start, but look, we're here to talk about the first team and the celebrations. Do you know what made this night so good? It was the fact that It was Mitrovic's record. It was 7-0. It was all these goal scorers. Jean-Michel Seri, Kenny Tete, Tom Kearney, Bobby D, Cordova-Reid, Mitrovic with the brace. Who am I missing? Who scored? Who else scored? Carvalho scored as well. Yeah. Should we talk Micho? I mean, we have
to. I don't think we have enough this season. I don't think we have enough.
No, we haven't. We really haven't.
I mean, like you said there, it was one of those things where it was like everything was getting ticked off as if you dreamt it. It was like, we can't surely fit in all of these things that we've got left to do this season in one. The 100 goals, the title, Mitrovic's record, Tete, Tete has scored, but just what a goal. Kearney getting his big moment, Seri finally scoring. And that Mitrovic moment at the end is 100% my moment of the season when he got the 7th goal. A 7th goal you would never imagine being celebrated that much, but it was the euphoria in the stadium that he'd done it. He'd broken the record, and he really deserved it. And you could see that he's given it a lot of talk this season about not really looking at the records, but you could see what it meant to him. Even if he doesn't admit it, he must have been looking at that thinking, I can get to that, and I'll be gutted if I don't. And, 43 goals in a league season with 1 game to spare, where he hasn't played every match, is just unbelievable. And he had 2 real chances. There was a half chance in the first half. He had 2 real chances on Monday, and he scored both. And that's what we're going to need from him next season. And I fully back him to do it, because when you provide him the service, he will score the goals.
It was probably my favourite Fulham moment since Tom Kearney made it 1-0 against Villa at Wembley. Like a really iconic goal. The way he was slid in, the finish with his weaker foot into the corner, Hammersmith end, running into the corner, shirt off. It had all the combinations and ingredients you need of an iconic moment. Let's get to some of the comments, because you guys have been commenting away. Was it the best performance of the season? I think probably yes. I mean, I think that we needed to win, and we did it in style. We won 7-0 3 times this season. And when it really mattered, we actually put on a show and blew Luton away. And this is not a Luton team who are sitting, 15th, 16th. They're in the playoffs. They're chasing the playoffs. Yeah, I know they've got injuries and they had an emergency goalkeeper in, but this was a performance that once we got one, it was just plain sailing. And I tell you what's really interesting is all the times. Can you actually finish this sentence for me, Joe? All the times we've won 7-0, we've...
Oh my goodness. Been 2-0 up at half-time?
We've been 2-0 up at half-time, which is really interesting.
And interestingly, my dad actually said this. He said, you remember the Reading game in particular? Because Blackburn, I guess, is a bit different because they went down to 10 men.
Yeah.
But the first half of Reading, we were okay. We weren't amazing. Like, we were good. We were the better team, deservedly winning. 2-0 might have been a tiny bit generous. I felt a bit like that on Monday, but then the second half, we just blitzed them. And that second half performance, I've got to chime in here. I agree. That second half is the best I've seen us play this season. It was absolutely phenomenal. One of the best Fulham performances ever that I've seen.
I remember last season on SW6 Essential, we did a video talking about our highlights of the season, and it was pretty grim stuff because it was slim pickings. But I'm guessing we're going to do that at some point in the next couple of weeks. And it's just going to be so difficult to even pick something. We're going to be spoilt for choice. We're going to have to get some really, really niche categories and, best celebration, best goal, best 7-0. Yeah. I mean, it's remarkable. Should we just put it, let's see what's happened. 106 goals, 90 points. Was it 93? Is it 90?
90
no, it's
now.
90. 90 points, top of the league. We have gone up as champions. We're not going to mention what happened last night. That's the reason we didn't go live last night, was because of that massive game. It's ironic, to say the least, of how that goal came about, given Parker's records in big games. And you know what? I might as well bring up now. I actually sat and gave Parker a bit of credit last night and gone, when the big game comes, Parker actually produces the big tactical decisions. And for him to bring on a second striker last night was actually inspired. And I don't want to sit here and this is a guy I've been slagging off all season, but to be fair, they did it and they actually stifled Forest very well. And that's all I'm going to say on it, because it's Fulham and we're champions, Joe. Post-match celebrations, how good were they at the Cottage? It was brilliant, wasn't it?
I really loved it. Yeah. And if you haven't watched the video, by the way, would highly recommend going on the Fulham website, going on YouTube and having a look at the behind the scenes of the players in the dressing room. Adoy being back, fantastic. Also, shout out to the fake Adoy. I think it's Luke Sargent, who was getting thrown around at the Cottage on the
that was
pitch.
good fun.
He is just not Dennis Adoy, which is quite funny. But yeah, fantastic. And it was one of those moments where we were waiting a long time for the trophy to come out. And I think the big difference for me, and you mentioned it earlier, the difference between this game and the Derby game a few years ago was Derby was on a knife edge. We didn't know if we were going to make the final. I think we all knew we were going to be champions at some point.
Yeah.
But once that trophy came out, it felt very real to me. And it was like, oh my goodness, we've won something. We've done it. And it would have been heartbreaking to throw it away, to be honest. That we're Fulham, we don't win much. Let's face it. We all go on about how gargantuan we are, which is obviously still true. But we don't win much. And it's a moment I'll remember for the rest of my life. The moment that the trophy happened, I took a picture on my phone. Weird choice of music from Sky, as always. It's not Capital FM, but happy days. We won the title, and I'll remember it for the rest of my life.
For me, it's probably up there with Derby, with my favourite night at the Cottage ever. I didn't go to Juventus. I wasn't at Hamburg. I was at Shakhtar Donetsk. I was probably too young to be caught up in all the Europa League stuff, which is why I'm so desperate for a Europa League or a Conference League campaign in the next few years. Hopefully, you never know. So for me personally, I look at all the memories of Juventus and Hamburg and go, that would have been insane. But to lift a trophy, to score 7 for Mitro, we've already mentioned it. It was the perfect night, the most poetic night of football I've ever seen. Ever, especially including Fulham, and it was just very special. Can we take some time to talk about Marco Silva again? Yeah. I don't think we've talked about him enough on this Jack and Joe show this season. I mean, we mentioned it before when he came in. We were skeptical, but I've absolutely grown to love the guy as much as I loved Slavisa, and at the peak of my Parker mania last season, which of course looks silly now. I look at all 3 promotions in isolation, and I have to say I've got the most confident in our manager right now to be the one to actually take us to the next level. It's going to be really tricky, and I'm not even going to mention all the boring people. There's been a lot of boring Twitter stuff today about Bournemouth and Fulham and Norwich and Watford. Just grow up, man. This is football. This is what happens. It's not that deep, is it? Anyway, Marco Silva. Are we staying up under Marco Silva? That's a question, obviously, to ask, in a few months' time. Yeah. But how are you feeling right now with him at the 10, him at the top of, the manager?
I'm feeling confident because of the football we played, and we have been the best team in the division. The other 2 times that we've gone up, we haven't. The best we've been is 3rd best, and the time we went up last time under Parker, we were 4th best. And that was probably at a push. We were really not impressive that season at all. You see a lot of people online that would say, oh, well, I could have taken that Fulham side up, blah, blah, blah. Don't get me wrong. Couldn't. A lot of managers could have done. A lot of fairly average managers, I'm sure, could have got us over the line. Parker did. There's a difference. You can get this team up. Can you get them up in the fashion that is necessary? West Brom and Sheff United have got very good squads. You don't see them doing this. You don't see them coming anywhere close. I would argue that at the start of the season, West Brom and our squads were probably like that. Very similar. We made a couple of nice additions that maybe edged it, but, they've got a very, very good side. And they ran us close last season at the end of it. We weren't that different, and we had more low knees that got lost. So it was quite even. Marco Silva's come in. He's completely changed the feeling around the club, which is hard to do after relegation. I feel like Parker, for all he did right and wrong, during the 1920 season, he never quite changed for me the feeling around the club of positivity. It was satisfaction that we were going in the right direction, progressing up the table and going up. But there was never a feeling of, this is it, Fulham are back. It was just a case of we were doing the bare minimum to get up. The standards that Marco Silva has set in terms of the moment promotion was sealed and you watch the behind the scenes video from the Preston game, we want to win the title. This is the mentality that I love to see, and he's done a phenomenal job.
Yeah, and it's good we got to see the behind the scenes speeches from Monday night and the Preston game from Marco Silva, and you actually see how he actually interacts with the players. And we got to see that with Parker for the Liverpool game, But there's something about Marco Silva that's got a little bit of extra to it because he doesn't overcomplicate things. He doesn't make a big performance out of everything. Not saying that SP did, but it's very friendly. It's very toned down, and it's just like, guys, I'm so proud of you. I love that. He just reiterates the pride he has in the team and the togetherness and the Mitro speech. Just, everyone's together in this. And I know we said this last year and whatever, and we were in lockdown, but it's nice to see it firsthand on the pitch, off the pitch. And yeah, can we talk about Scott Twine?
Hope so. One last thing on Marco Silva before we do, if you don't mind. Yeah. He will know, and I think this is why he comes across quite reserved. Automatic promotion this season was the bare minimum, right?
Yeah.
And winning the championship was the maximum we could possibly achieve, but we've done it. So next season is the big one now. It's all about whether he can translate this style. Obviously, we can't play the exact same way that we have done this season. We can't play as expansively, maybe slightly more on the counter-attack. We've scored a lot of goals on the break this season. We've been fantastic in attacking transitions. Can he translate this? And I do think that's why he comes across quite laid back at times, because he knows that this was expected of him. If he'd have blown automatic promotion, he's probably not getting a job in England again, but he's proving himself, and next season he's got to finish the job. And I really back him to do it. He's so likeable. He's brought an amazing style of football to the cottage. I also do love the way that he is, he doesn't put himself out there that much. He just does his job. He gets on with it. He doesn't come out before the Fulham Bournemouth game for the warm-ups when he's never done that before in his life, like a certain Scott Parker. He doesn't make it all about him.
In the cottage.
Yeah, he doesn't make it all about him because it's not all about him. It's about the whole team, and I love that.
Sorry, I thought there'd been another goal in the under-18s. A Watford fan is in the stream. Hello, Fulham fans. You will stay up this time around under Marco Silva. He took us to 4th after 10 games, 7 points less than we have now. Wow. Marco Silva's tenure at Watford was extremely impressive. And I didn't, obviously a characteristic of a manager is not good when he gets his head turned by a bigger club. No disrespect to Watford. Everton, obviously, a huge club at the level they might go down still. It's insane to think. So, yeah, but I feel like now he's sort of made those naive decisions and he's learned his lessons. I don't think, well, first of all, I don't think any club's going to come calling for him in the Premier League unless we're doing absolutely phenomenally next season at an early point. What would your be the dream signing of the summer? Choose the player. It's Scott Twine. I tweeted this because he scored 4 against MK Dons. 4 MK Dons against Plymouth on the last day. And it was very funny. It was always none of this What I meant by that was, let's not spend millions and millions and millions on these players. Just sign Scott Twine on a cheap deal. And of course, whatever Harvey made, whatever. Very funny. I enjoyed it a lot. And it just so happened, and someone asked me, how much do you think we'll pay? I said max 5 million. And it just so happened that Swindon Insider said that Fulham were the team that we're going to make a bid for him for 5 million. I don't know where he got it from. I don't know where he plucked the fee out of, but it just was extremely funny and really took me by surprise and was just a really funny moment last night. I'm being slightly tongue-in-cheek. He's a great player. I think, Premier League level, maybe Championship level at his best, but he would be phenomenal. I generally see him as like a nice TC sort of replica, and he can play up front as well. But I am being slightly tongue-in-cheek, but I do want to sign him. He's a fantastic player. Brother Matthew, Jesse Lingard, easy Fabio replacement. Joe, let's get your thoughts on Jesse Lingard, and I know you're a big fan of Mohamed El Neni.
I am a fan of Mohamed El Neni, and for those of you that watched Arsenal recently, he's come back into the midfield when Partey's been out, and he's been great. I mean, I watched him on Sunday against West Ham. Declan Rice and Mark Noble midfield. Obviously, one half of it's a bit older than the other, but Declan Rice is a fantastic midfielder, and I thought El Neni was the best midfielder on the pitch on the day. He did well against United and Chelsea as well. So he's available on a free. A lot of people think I'm joking. I'm not. I think it'd be a fantastic signing. Whether it would actually happen, I don't think it will, because I think he'll sign a new contract when Arsenal get into Europe, because they need the squad depth. In terms of realistic signings, I see Lingard as potentially realistic. And the reason I say that is because we're in London. He's been in London before with West Ham. He's going to leave United for somewhere. He would have a starting spot. We can pay very decent wages. Of course, we're not going to be his first choice at this moment in time. There's probably clubs higher up the ladder than we are, but we need to be aiming big because we need a successful replacement for Carvalho. Scott Twine, I'm sure, could be fantastic, but it is a risk, in the fact that he hasn't played Premier League football or even Championship football before. So it's one of those where I would love someone like Lingard coming in addition to a Twine if that was to happen. But we must remain realistic. If Fulham come in and Newcastle come in, who have, been interested in Lingard in the past, he's probably going to go there at this moment in time. And to be honest, who can blame him? They can probably pay him a lot more. They've got a chance of getting into Europe at some stage. But Lingard, that's the caliber of player I want to see us aiming for.
You're watching the Jack and Joe show, or should I say the Jack and Gary Neville show, with Joe bringing out the "at this moment in time" twice in that little speech. Fantastic. If you haven't noticed, listen to Gary Neville speak and take a shot every time he says "at this moment in time." It's extremely funny. PSV, friend of the show. What a season we've had. A smile on my face since Monday. Same here. Buzzing to come over for Sheffield United. Oh, can't wait to see you there. We will. Yes, I'm going up. Joe, are you heading up to Bramall Lane?
I'm not going to be in Bramall Lane, but have a fantastic time, Pierce. And looks like we've nearly sold out the away end. So if you can make it and you haven't got your ticket, you better act fast.
Pierce, if you're heading up on the Friday night, we're going to be in a pub called, I think it's called the Wild Bar Grill or something in Sheffield. We're going to be there probably watching Sunderland v Sheffield Wednesday in the playoffs, having a few drinks, a lot of drinks, I reckon. And it's going to be fantastic. I cannot wait to see everyone up there on the Friday. Oscar, this is a really interesting point. Let's get into it because did you read the Tony Khan interview on The Athletic? Really interesting insight into the transfer process, in the club. Clear to see that Tony has realised the mistakes have been. Yeah, yes. But I liked the interview, but I still didn't like it because it had undertones of me again.
Yeah.
I did this, I did that. Like, yeah, I get it. You're like in charge of recruitment and whatever, or you're involved in recruitment, but take some team mentality, not an individual mentality. It doesn't take one person to sign someone. It takes a whole team of people. But then again, he's giving an interview. He has got a bit of an ego. Oh, do I like him? Yes. Yes. But I mean, he causes more problems than he doesn't give himself a great rap of reputation over the last few years. But hopefully, if we have a good summer and we stay up, I think he'll be hailed as not a legend as such, but he will come across as very successful, and it will be very beneficial for the club. Joe, give me your thoughts on that article. It was a good read. I have to say, it was a fantastic read.
It was an interesting read. I do agree that it came across a bit self-centered, and my initial reaction when I saw the headline, I saw who the interview was with, and it was with Tony Khan. My thought was, where have you been all season? You've been hiding since we got relegated. He's just come out of the woodwork. I know that he came to the Bournemouth game after he'd already been promoted, but let's face it, he's taken a back seat because I think the club know he's not a popular guy, and to be honest, quite rightly so. But the recruitment has improved for sure. And whether that's down to him or not, we're not fully sure, but it has improved. I appreciate that he made comparisons with Brentford. Brentford are far better at this data-led recruitment than we are. So I thought that it was a bit cocky to even put yourself in the same bracket as them, to be honest. But he's got a chance to redeem himself. So fingers crossed that will work out this summer. Fingers crossed we're getting the recruitment done early with players like Man or Solomon that seems to be coming in. The main thing from the article for me, and people are talking about it in the comments here, he's confirmed Carvalho's gone. That's not a debate anymore. He's confirmed that a deal is done.
Yeah, there was some sort of rumour circling on Monday night that he was hinting at a loan back, but I don't know if that's the case. I think that was just, adrenaline talk.
It's not even allowed if they sign him from 1st of July. You're not allowed to loan out a player that you've signed in that window to another Premier League club. So it wouldn't even be possible.
Oh, we should have got up now. We would have got him back. No. What was I going to say? Yeah, I was going to say that next week on our next Jack and Joe show, we can look at the playoffs because the season's over and we can make our predictions and stuff like that. That'd be good fun. And yeah, we could mention Nico Williams. I saw someone put a comment if we can get Nico Williams plus Joe Rodon and Rabbi. Oh, you know what? We will link with Rabbi Matondo. last week. It looked interesting. I haven't seen an awful lot of him this season. I know is he playing for Stoke or was he
I
on
think
loan
so.
from
I think
Stoke?
he was on. I think he was on loan at Stoke. I've got to admit, I saw the link. I don't think it's the caliber of player we should be looking at. I think we should be looking a lot higher, to be honest.
What about Jack Rudoni from AFC Wimbledon?
Jack Rudoni, similar to Twine, but less impressive in terms of Twine's numbers. I mean, Rudoni's younger, obviously.
Yeah.
One of those where I'd like it if we signed him, but I think we should be prioritising players that can actually fit into the squad rather than ones for the future.
Let us know in the comments about how you experienced Monday night. Did you watch it at home? Were you at the ground? Do you still have your scarf? My scarf's over there. I was going to put it on, but I thought it's actually just too hot and it's a bit unnecessary. I thought that was such a good gesture, though. Like the scarves just looked amazing. When the teams are coming out, when we were waving them about at 1-0 and 2-0, it looked so good. Yeah. And like, I know it's a bit like, oh yeah, Leeds do that and whatever. But if we could I don't know if they could brandish out scarves for every single game, but just bring that same one along.
I was going to say the exact
same thing. Give it a little
thing.
wave.
I would encourage everyone to bring their scarf for every home game next season, especially the first one, whenever that will be. And, wave it about. It looks great. The atmosphere was a lot better as a result of it. I know that it would have probably been quite good anyway because just of the circumstances of the match, but it was great and I loved it.
Slightly shorter stream tonight because of the Champions League. Apparently the ref for the under-18s game is Pony. That's not good. That doesn't bode well. Should we talk a bit about next season?
I think we should.
We've sort of covered it because we've been pro for a while now, but things do develop, things do happen. And of course, season tickets went on sale today. Has anyone renewed? I need to actually start looking into doing that. Otherwise, I'm going to miss out and that'd be a bit annoying. But we've got a whole month to renew or change seats. Okay, actually, can we talk about the pricing?
Yeah, let's do it. Got to say, my initial reaction, very reasonable. I was relieved.
I was more than happy.
Yeah, very reasonable. Obviously, in some areas, they've gone up very slightly, but, we're playing Premier League football. When the Riverside season ticket news came out, we were all very nervous that the prices all around the ground would be horrendously high. The club, whether it's touts, possibly have sold out the Riverside stand lower, or maybe there's like two left. I would feel like a tout would wait for the cheaper tickets. But, there's people there that want the tickets. So you've got to say, I guess they've got the pricing. I don't want to say they got the pricing right, but not as wrong as we thought. In terms of then putting the rest of the ground then in a more reasonable price bracket, there is scope for whatever you want in your experience. I don't want to move to the new Riverside stand in the lower tier, especially. And I think that £1,000 is way too much. But if there's people that think that's good value for money and they can afford it, good on them. They're clearly doing quite well in life.
I suppose if you're sitting right behind the dugout, you've got some. I was lucky enough to be at Brentford Everton earlier this season. I was sitting really close to the dugout with Rafa and Frank, and it was quite good value. So if you could do that with 19 home games and have the likes of Pep Guardiola and Jurgen Klopp in front of you, then and if you can afford that, and you're in a financial position where you can, then I suppose you can't really begrudge it, and people are allowed to experience and watch football where they want, unless they do those "Can I have your shirts?" signs. Again, slightly tongue in cheek, but yeah, I think those should be eradicated from football. That's a different point altogether. Yeah, let's talk next season then. We're going to be in the Premier League with pretty much, we probably know 18 of the teams we're going to be playing. We're going to be with next season. Maybe actually 17, actually, including us. Norwich are down. Watford look like they'll join them. Fulham and Bournemouth are up. And we've got the playoffs to decide and one more relegation. It could be Burnley. It could be Leeds. It could be Everton. How are you feeling? Do you think we're going to be in a good position where we can finish 17th? Because that's what I would take right now, Joe.
I think we are. And my reasoning for that is what I said last week or the week before. I can't remember. We are currently the 18th best team in the country automatically going into next season because we've won the league. 3 have come down. We overtake them. By that logic, and obviously football's not played on paper, but we've been better than Bournemouth this season. We've been better than whoever comes up through the playoffs. We've then got a bit more time to get our squad even stronger. So by that logic, we only have to become better than one other side next season to finish 17th. And that is 100% doable. A team always drops off. Sheffield United last season, Leeds and Everton this season, Burnley have been poorer as well. It's very, very possible that someone just has a catastrophic close season, pre-season, and then things just don't go right on the pitch, and we only have to overtake one. And under Marco Silva, and I was saying this to some guys after the game the other day, Luke Harris goal, fantastic news.
Well, he put it on the chat, and he did look very excited, so I thought it was 2-0. But he said Luke Harris with the goal. That's fantastic news. Carry on, Joe.
What I was going to say was, with Marco Silva, when we're playing the mid-table sides and lower table relegation threatened sides next season, if we go 1-0 up, I feel like he's going to go for the jugular. We get the second goal, get the third goal, or at least try to. And I think that will put us in good stead because we drew so many games last season that we just weren't left with a chance. We need to be beating the teams around us, just go for it. 3 points. Yes, you might lose a couple more than if you just go for the draw each game. That's how we're going to stay up. And I really think under Marco Silva with positive football, obviously we have to be a bit more pragmatic than this season. We can do it.
We're a team who basically did not need to necessarily counterattack this season. And obviously when we did, we were fantastic. I was talking to my brother about this earlier. We were a team who knew we were going to have most of the ball and basically had to break defenses down, and we did it very, very well. Next season, we're going to have a lot less of the ball. Will be very interesting to see what we do in transition. And players like Carvalho, I hate to say it, is where it's most key to transition into a counter. And it's such a shame we can't have him, which is why I really want to sign a Solomon, a Lingard, a link man in there who can really get us on the front foot when we turn defenses into attack. We got Wilson and Solomon or Cabano. I mean, Solomon hasn't signed yet, but I'm guessing that's going to happen. And of course, Mitro, will he drop deep like he did? By the way, he was phenomenal Monday night, dropping deep. Unbelievable. Yep. But will he drop that deep in the Premier League? I'm not too sure. He'll be the target man. And of course, you got Harrison Reed, you got John Mikel Seri, who so we're going to have to announce these contracts pretty soon, aren't we?
Yeah.
Who's staying, who's going? That's going to be really interesting. That's something to sink our teeth into once that news comes out, Joe. So yeah, and of course the defense I'm quite worried about right now. But I mean, we've got so long to prepare. What was it, like 109 days compared to 39 days last time? That's going to make a hell of a difference. Luke Harris makes it 1-1. Fantastic news. Come on, beat them. That would be fantastic. Scott Twine would be a quality signing. He would be. Joe, what else would you like to talk about?
I think we should go into those contracts. Obviously, they haven't happened yet, but you look at who was involved on Monday. We had Seri, who's also, we've got an option to extend his contract. Might not happen. Cabano is the same situation where we've got a 1-year extension, and Tim Ream. Hector on the bench, Mawson in the squad, Francois, future undecided. Out of those players that I've just named, Fabry as well, but with no disrespect to King Fabry, I think we know he's probably going to leave. Who do you think will stay? Not who you want to stay. Who do you think will stay, and who do you think will go?
Well, I think starting with Tyrese Francois, sign him on a contract and then send him out on loan, because I think he's a player for the future, definitely. I mean, he's played a little part of this season right at the beginning, and he was good. I think he started the first game of the season, didn't he?
He did, yeah.
Which is actually insane to think about. Mawson, I think Mawson's going to go. I'm sorry. I don't think more. He had such potential when he was at Swans. He was so good. He was England squad, £25 million signing. We were very, very excited. It just didn't work out for him. And now he's going to be, I think Birmingham and Wickham are teams that want to sign him. I think Seri will definitely stay. Cabana will definitely stay. I think there'll be big squad players for us next season. Yeah. Hector, maybe not. Ream, I don't know. I suppose Ream is not. I mean, I want him to, but if he wants to have one more season where he's going to play first team football, I would go to the MLS. So yeah, not too sure about that one. But at least we're not in a position where we've got loads of players running out of contract. with no options and they're key for next season. That's just the one in Fabio Carvalho. We've got a bit of money for him. And he's going into a Liverpool team who are going to be probably using him next season. So it's a fine decision. This is a good question from Pierce. What away day are you guys looking for this next season? I've done Spurs, but I haven't done Spurs with an away crowd. So I'm looking forward to that. That'll be fun. Brentford away, I'm sure will pop. Chelsea will be great, depending if Alonso stays or not. I don't know, Man United. Actually, they're all horrible, aren't they? But
they're dreadful.
Bournemouth.
United. Bournemouth, yeah.
That's going to be massive. Absolutely massive. I've just surpassed 1,000 loyalty points as well. So happy days.
Oh, well done. Well done.
Yeah, it did feel. You know what? My friend Will, we were standing next to each other as we were celebrating. Like we were waiting for the players to come out to lift the trophy, and he turned to me and he was like, "We deserve this. The amount of games we go to, like we deserve moments like this." And he's completely correct, because in football, the majority of the time is going to be slightly unhappy or things are going
mediocre.
Wrong.
Yeah,
you have to enjoy these moments. When you're lifting a trophy, you won't see that often with Fulham unless we go on a mad one in the next few years. It's just not going to happen. And so, I was saying the other week when people say why they said it, shut up. We're going to celebrate because this is a very rare moment, and it was in our own stadium, in front of our own crowd, with our own players, and it was unbelievable. It sort of felt like when we were waiting for Fulham to lift the trophy at Wembley, everyone was exhausted and sort of just buzzing, but there was a little buzz in the crowd. But yeah, just enjoy that moment, relive the night again. The Monday night was fantastic, Joe. Away day you're looking forward to most next season?
You named my two in Tottenham and Brentford for different reasons. Brentford, just because I'm excited to play Brentford in the Premier League. It'll be a great game. Should be a fantastic atmosphere. And I haven't been to that stadium. I mean, maybe I'm lucky, but I haven't been. Tottenham, just because I haven't been there either. And it looks fantastic. It looks like the opposite end of the spectrum, where it's not made of Lego and it looks like it can actually function. So I'm very excited to go there, especially for the pints that fill themselves up. I keep on talking to people about these. I'm very excited for that because I haven't done one of them before. Other random ones. Southampton. I'm excited for Southampton. I don't know why. I've literally got no reason to be excited for Southampton. Other ones that I'm excited for. I always like going to just being there at some of the bigger stadiums. They're often a terrible day out. Go to the Emirates, lose 2-0. Go to United, lose, long train home. Brighton's a great shout. You go to Chelsea, as fun as it is to be with everyone in a good atmosphere, we normally get beat. But it's the fact that we can go to these stadiums now and hopefully have a better chance of getting something, because under Marco Silva, I feel like we'll at least give it a go. We won't go there and try and scrape a draw. We'll go out there and try and cause them some problems. And it would be... That's fantastic. Insane. I did see a tweet actually about Spurs being cursed. The fact that Gazaniga and Josh Onuma both have got winners' medals.
That's hilarious.
And that is very funny.
I quite like Spurs, though, as a club. I don't really have anything against them. And I love Harry Kane, so I would love him to win a trophy at some point. I saw a good comment here. Are we getting a guard of honour for Sheffield United? I suppose we will, given...
Yeah, we will do, happened. Because we won the league, I think. Yeah.
We could maybe preview that game quickly. Would you change anything? Good point. It's just good fun, isn't it? Nothing.
I mean, I feel like I'd change a lot of them just because I feel like a lot of them will be, one, bruised from paintball, and two, still pissed. So I'd love to see a few of the younger players get a run out, get at least some involvement in the game. And, also a few of the players that maybe are leaving us. If this is Ream's last game, then obviously he's got to play. If this is Hector's last game, I'd like to see him involved. If it's, forget it. If it's Fabri's last game, get him in goal. It's one of those where...
Yeah, why not?
It means nothing. So, give him a game. It's going to be fun. 3,000 Fulham fans up there wearing Rowan Ince masks and with inflatables.
Rowan Ince.
Fantastic. Yeah, it's going to be fantastic.
Brilliant. I'd love to see Sonny Hilton play, but I think because he's playing tonight, he might maybe get on the bench. You never know. Yeah. Sammy James has said, main aways I'm looking forward to are Spurs and Brentford. Ball for the PL should be pretty tasty. I think I'd like to do Newcastle. Yes, Newcastle. Last time I went there, drew 0-0. It was awful. Oh, yeah.
Abubakar Kamara's shoe is, I think, still on the pitch.
Before we wrap up or start to wrap up, I must just quickly mention some stuff. If you're on the Fulhamish Telegram or Leveler, which is called, you can still join. You could get a 2-week free trial to try before you buy. And if you don't like it, you can opt out. If you do like it, then you can stick around. It's a way of supporting the work that Fulhamish does, but only if you can, only if you want to, only if you can afford it. It's £5 per month. As a bonus, you'll get access to the Telegram app where Fulham fans chat all things Fulham. It's a fantastic group chat. And as soon as a transfer rumour comes through on Twitter, Joe Sansom is first on it and sends it into the group chat.
You beat me yesterday with Scott Twine, though, Jack. You were very quick with that one, I think, because of your
because I was so
excitement.
giddy.
Yeah.
Yeah, I couldn't believe it, to be fair. The link is in the description of the video on the Fulhamish website. This is the Telegram app that's been running for about, I'd say about a couple months now. It's been really good fun. There's like 4 or 5 different chats on it where you can give like feedback. You can just have a discussion. You can talk transfers. And of course, we're entering into silly season. So it's going to be, oh, did someone say that Fabry isn't registered? That's really sad. That's actually a good shout.
Register him. We've got until Saturday, man. Honestly, get him in net, please.
So yeah, if you'd like to join, then the link is below on the website and in this video. It's really good fun, but of course you do not have to. But it's a good way to connect with other Fulham fans. I've certainly met a really good few people through there. They always come and say hello in the pub, or Jason, who came over from America. It was fantastic to see him and go for a few drinks with him after the West Brom game. And yeah, that's what's the time? It's 1:45. The kickoff's in about 15 minutes. Should we go for 5 more minutes? And
let's
just
do it. Let's go for 5
up?
more minutes. And someone's made a great point, which I think we need to talk about.
Go on then.
Harrison Reed, he needs a goal.
He does.
If we get a penalty, he's got to be on it.
That's an insane record, by the way. Every outfield player. Has Natty Chab scored?
No. There's a few that, like, I feel, because they haven't played enough, they don't count. So, like, Joe Bryan, I don't think has scored.
Yeah.
Chalobah. Seri until the weekend. Gongolo has not scored. And also, obviously, Harrison Reed. So it would be great to see him get a goal. It would be fantastic.
Yeah. Guys, we've got one more game of this season. And then in terms of Jack and Joe show going forward, we will probably bring you, a review of the season. We'll talk playoffs. We'll review maybe the teams who have stayed up and talk about our opponents for next season, the transfers, of course. It's all sort of the new kits, the new fixtures. We could do like a little maybe evening live where we go through the fixtures for like 20 minutes and talk about the key games and stuff. That could be good fun. So yeah, lots of fun stuff to come, and hopefully a lot of transfers to talk about as well, guys. Your support this season has been unbelievable. It's been my favourite season supporting Fulham, I think, ever. And thanks to you guys for making it so worthwhile. And thanks to you, Joe, for being an excellent co-host and just a very good friend.
Oh, no, thank you, Jack. And thanks, everyone, for, it's been great. It's been so much more fun than last year, and not just because we've actually been half decent at football. It's just been fun. And look forward to continuing it next season. And with the Premier League football, it's just a bonus.
This Jason Watford Fulham fan is really adamant. Please, Marcus Silva, do not betray Fulham. Look, I think he's very happy, very comfortable at Fulham. Oh,
thank you, Oscar. Thank you,
Oscar, with a £5 donation. You're very kind to do that, and we really appreciate it. It's been such a fun season. I remember last season, the only thing that would get me through the day is knowing that I would be doing a SW6 Essential, despite even whatever result we'd had. But this has just been top class this season. It's been fantastic. Joe, predictions for the Champions League tonight?
Oh, my word. Well, just not 0-0, please, because I couldn't see the game last week when we were playing Forest, and I felt like I missed out. I mean, probably same for everyone here. I think City will do it, I think they will, but I think it'll be tough. I'm going to go for City. Oh, I'm torn between 2-1 City and 2-2. Either way, I think City are going to do it. I'll go 2-2 on the night. City through on aggregate. Yeah.
Yeah, I'll probably go 2-1 City, I think, tonight, which means it's a Liverpool versus City final, which, for footballing fans like us is probably the best of the best. I mean, you can't get two better teams at the moment.
No.
Right. Last few minutes. Let's talk Fulham.
I think we should probably end on score predictions for Saturday,
Sheffield
because I just
United,
realised
yeah.
we didn't even speak about that.
Given that Sheffield United have to win to secure, or wait, what's the table looking like? I think they have to win to get playoffs. So
They definitely have to win to be 100% sure.
Yeah.
But, there's a few different things that can go on. Millwall can still get playoffs. Middlesbrough, Luton still trying to stay or get in there. So it's going to be tough. I think that this game, again, is going to be a Desmond, actually. I think that Fulham don't care. We're going to go there and try and score some goals. 8-0 would be fantastic. Sheffield United obviously need it, and I think it'll be a really thrilling game. But I do think Sheffield United...
4-0 Sheffield United
with a draw.
I'd have to keep it. I don't know. 8-0 says Teddy. Brilliant. I'm going to say 1-0 Fulham. It's going to be one of those games where it's going to be a lot of fun, and we're going to get that one big chance and probably tuck it away in the box. I'd love to see Mitro score one more, because then it beats the all-time Fulham record goal scorer. Jason, he's been a big old character in this stream today, the Watford fan. Luton away next season with fans as well, because obviously last season you didn't have that. That would be fantastic.
Yeah, stay safe, Jason.
Yeah.
If Saturday's anything to go by.
Can Watford pull off a miracle? I don't think so. And Roy Hodgson today getting, of course, his award. And, of course, congratulations to Thomas Young as well for his award today. Fantastic stuff. Things you love to see. It's just been a great season all round for Fulham. Joe, let's leave it there. It's been great fun. Thanks, guys, for watching. Joe, any final words before we go?
Nothing from me. Just enjoy it. We won a title. We're not going to get to say that much. I mean, I really hope we do, but we're probably not. So enjoy it. What a fantastic year it's been. Thanks for all your support. And if you're going to Sheffield United on Saturday, if you're just watching it at home, if it's on TV, I don't think they've announced it yet. TV. But just enjoy it. Have a great time.
You'll never know where we're going to be sitting this time next year. We could be, mid-table. We could be in a relegation battle. We could be comfortably safe. We could be in a Champions League position. You just never know. So enjoy these moments, because they are ones to cherish. And please, everyone, ignore that stupid narrative on Twitter about yo-yo. Just grow up. It's not that deep. Come on, Fulham. Come on, the under-18s. We'll see you Saturday. And you